But hold up a sec. Let's throw some shade on this. How on earth are NBA players raking in hundreds of millions of dollars while these WNBA stars are scraping by with minimum salary?
You may have heard about the WNBA players' demands for NBA-level salaries, which are creating a stir and leading some to label them entitled. However, the data tells a very different tale.
What is your message to the sporting industry about why women deserve to make just as much as men do?
Just wake up and realize that without women, where are we at?
We're going to go into the startling reality of the WNBA's financial condition. Believe me, you have no idea how awful it is. The league has been having financial difficulties since the beginning, but the worst part is that certain WNBA players are requesting salaries comparable to those of the NBA.
Breanna Stewart also chimed in and said that she would love to see teams have the ability to have $1 million player, and currently the top salary is around $250,000.
Let's examine the data to understand why this argument is more nuanced than it first appears. You'll be shocked to learn how much the WNBA and NBA make. There is a huge disparity. While the WNBA is barely making ends meet, the NBA brings in billions of dollars. This isn't just a small deficit. We're talking about significant losses.
The Washington Post reported that the league is expected to lose $50 million this year. Since the WNBA was founded in 1996, it has averaged losing about $10 million per year. The league literally exists in the red.
Thus, why do some players continue to claim that their pay is inadequate? They appear to be living in an other universe as they gaze at those enormous NBA contracts and ask themselves, hey, why can't we get that too? You may be asking how they can demand more money when the league is already suffering large losses. There are several reasons for the WNBA's financial difficulties. TV viewership was poor due to low attendance, and the league's continued existence mostly depended on NBA funding.
It survived because of the great support the NBA has given it over many years. So there's a reason why the WNBA is the longest tenured women's professional sports league in the country. Think about this, by double any other.
WNBA team owners received 50% stake in 2002. In 2022, the league raised $75 million from a group of investors, the league's first ever outside investment and the largest in women's sports history.
However, this is where things get interesting. WNBA player Chelsea Plum made a statement that might alter your perspective. She stated that they are not requesting NBA-level salaries, but rather the same percentage of revenue, which is a completely different ballgame. She may have a point, but let's look at the numbers.
In 2024, the WNBA is estimated to bring in $200 million in revenue. Just for comparison, the NBA is expected to earn $13 billion. The WNBA has historically lost around $10 million per season.
What is actually happening here? Why are WNBA players pushing so hard for more money when the numbers don't seem to add up? It's about respect, recognition, and trying to grow the game. And you know who had something to say about all of this? Draymond Green. Yes, that Draymond entered this debate. And let's just say he didn't make many friends. You won't believe what he said and how people reacted. Let's find out what happened. Green essentially told WNBA players to stop griping about their pay and start acting.
I'm really tired of seeing them complain about the lack of pay because they're doing themselves a disservice by just complaining.
They're not just complaining.
Huh?
They're not just complaining, really.
But they are, because they're not laying out steps that they can take to change that. Because the people that can change it, they're just going to continue to say, well, the revenue isn't there. The revenue isn't there. So if you don't bring in the revenue.
Wow, talk about not holding back. However, this is where things get very interesting because WNBA player Oiki wasn't going to ignore Green's remarks. I came out swinging, she said.
I think what I'm feeling is a lot of miseducation and ignorance.
That, in my opinion, is a clapback in light of Nika UAM's forceful reply. Malika Andrews, an ESPN personality, stepped in with her own strong viewpoint, not holding back, and emphasized that those who are oppressed shouldn't bear the burden of addressing it. Andrews clearly made her point, clearly stating,
He is coming from a good place. He just said that at the end of the day, he and Megan Rapinoe want the same thing. But inherently, the problem here, George, is that we're sitting up here talking about Megan Rapinoe versus Draymond Green, and that's taking away from what we should be talking about, which is equal pay. Here's the thing. This cannot be done. It is not on the oppressed to fix oppression. It has to be done with allyship, which is where someone like Draymond Green, a man, comes into a space that affects predominantly women. But the thing about being an ally is when you come into that space, you should be listening first, not talking first.
It's not as easy as taking sides, so you might be asking who is correct in this situation. Green with his "stop complaining and do something" approach, or Andrews calling for supporters to stand up and help. You can practically feel the frustration in her comments right now. Let's examine what Green was actually saying. He wasn't just telling WNBA players to shut up and deal with it. Rather, he was encouraging them to take action and think of specific ways to improve their circumstances. The problem is, though, is that it's really that simple. Can WNBA players just snap their fingers and make things better? Andrews, on the other hand, makes a strong point about allyship when she says that when people like Green jump into conversations about women's issues, they should listen more and speak less, as she put it.
Someone like Draymond Green, a man, comes into a space that affects predominantly women. But the thing about being an ally is when you come into that space, you should be listening first, not talking first, because there is no one who understands better what these women are going through than these women. If you come into this space and say, okay, I'm going to listen, I'm going to take this feedback of what you've been living and what you've been experiencing, and then I'm going to then talk and then offer my ideas.
That's difficult to argue with, isn't it? This is where things get complicated. What is the true problem? Is it only Green's remarks, or is there something more profound at play? Green's remarks caused anger from women everywhere, not just E.T. Andrews. This debate has revealed significant tensions in the WNBA pay discussion, which is now focused on respect, understanding, and who gets a voice. But if you thought the drama between Green and Andrews was intense, wait until you hear what Kelsey Plum had to say about it all. She's going to drop a bombshell that will make Green's remarks seem foolish. Are you ready for it? Let's get started. Kelsey Plum comes out swinging, but not in the way you might expect. She's not requesting those large NBA paychecks, nope. She's pursuing something completely different. Plum makes a shocking revelation.
One of those things that we are not asking to get paid what the men get paid. We're asking to get paid the same percentage of revenue shared.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Got it. So that's a huge misconception.
That's a huge misconception.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because every video is like, oh, this person gets paid this person gets paid that, right?
So I want to be really clear about that. Like, I don't think I should get paid the same as LeBron.
Right.
But the percentage of revenue, like, for example, they sell my jersey in Mandalay Bay, I don't get a dime.
Can you believe it? She's talking about equal revenue sharing rather than equal salaries. You might think that sounds reasonable, but wait a minute. The WNBA has been losing money since day one, so when Plum demands a larger share of the pie, we have to ask what pie we're even talking about. Plum isn't finished as she blames streaming services and TV deals.
Know that as part of the WNBA, I think what we can do is just make it more visible. Like, it's so hard to tune in and watch WNBA games because of streaming platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to log in, and my poor mom's trying to subscribe to 3 different channels to get the to get the game. Like, that's my mom, you know? A casual fan's not going to put in that type of effort. So I feel like making it less resistant to the consumer.
And she has a point, you know? How often have you attempted to watch a game, but been unable to locate the action? This is where things start to get very interesting. Plum is essentially arguing that if more people could watch, more would tune in, and they would make more money. But the NBA's viewership is far smaller than the NBA's. We're talking about a huge gap. Without those viewers, there would be no major sponsorships, no TV deals, and undoubtedly no enormous sum of money to split. NBA average viewership as 2022, NBA Finals 12.4 million. WNBA average viewership as 2022, WNBA 412,000 viewers. Plum makes a point about something else, though. WNBA players are rarely featured in national advertisements. If no one sees the players outside of games, how can the league expand? Here's the thing. Kelsey Plum wants WNBA players to earn more money, but the league's finances are in bad shape. It's a difficult situation, right? The league needs more viewers to make more money, but they need more money to get more viewers.
Talk about a tough spot.
Now, you might be wondering what other players think about this. Well, Lisa Leslie, the WNBA legend, had an idea that's causing even more drama. So here's what happened.
I just think, from a salary standpoint, it'd be great for the women to be able to make more money. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. I think I saw something that said like one player that makes maybe $12 million on an NBA team could cover the whole WNBA salary.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's kind of like crazy. And again, we're what, 26 years young, so it's not like we're comparing ourselves to the NBA, but I do feel like the pay gap would be something that, we could just take a donation around the NBA maybe one night y'all don't go to the casino.
Yes, it just seems so easy. Leslie even made a joke, adding, I think we could just take a donation around the NBA. Maybe one night, you guys don't go to the casino. Can you imagine how that went over with the NBA guys? Draymond Green made another shocking revelation.
I have something on this, though, because it pisses me off. It pisses me off because I don't think there's anyone in America that supports the WNBA more than NBA players.
100%.
The NBA players support the WNBA like
the most.
More than we probably support the fucking NBA. And it bothers me.
But this is where it gets really interesting. The NBA has been trying to help the WNBA financially for years, but it's not that easy. The NBA's problems are more complex than just a lack of funding. If donations were the solution, wouldn't the leagues be experiencing financial losses since day one, and that's with NBA support? Clearly, something else is at play here, but hold on, it gets even stranger. Yes, the NBA player Tracy McGrady chose to weigh in and offer some guidance.
This is not a shot at women in basketball.
Well, good, because you're going to be
listen, I had this talk. I think me and Rebecca Lobo had this talk during the Hall of Fame, and I was talking about doing something that gets, not your average fans, people that don't watch WNBA basketball. What can we do to get those fans to tune in? And I was like, why can't we lower the goal to at least 9.5 feet? Because I think for somebody that don't watch WNBA basketball, to have women dunking on other women would definitely bring more excitement to that game, and have, those guys that don't watch WNBA basketball tune in, and you get more fans that way. What do you think about that?
The WNBA players shut him down faster than a fast break after he made a horrible error. It was like seeing a newbie try to score on a DPI with no chance. You won't believe what happened next.
Also, we're only playing basketball to dunk? I'm not sure.
No, you playing to...
you just want to see me dunk on somebody? I don't know.
You may be asking why they reacted so passionately and what McGrady might have said to provoke such a reaction. Well, it's complicated. The WNBA players weren't just upset about his remarks. They were frustrated with having people who have never played in the league tell them how to run it. Let's get to the bottom of it, though. WNBA players are fed up with people assuming they know better. They've been fighting for respect and recognition for years. So when McGrady stepped in with his suggestions, it wasn't just about his words. It was about feeling like their struggles were being dismissed. Wow, what a journey we've been on with this WNBA pay debate. It's like a never-ending roller coaster ride. But the thing is that we're no longer just talking about basketball. This is much bigger than that, and it might be a solution.
Now these WNBA players and even college players are becoming celebrities in their own right, and they are gaining so many brand deals, endorsement deals. They are able to invest in different things, and they are making millions of dollars off the court. So yes, they're using the WNBA as their anchor, as their place where they can get this visibility and this notoriety and build their celebrity, but they are able to use social media, use these brands, get all of these other opportunities off the court to supplement their income, which is right now a low-paying salary in the WNBA.
Consider it. The WNBA is facing some serious challenges that aren't going away anytime soon, but there is still hope. Perhaps it comes down to coming up with innovative ways to promote the league or discovering new ways to connect with fans that we haven't even considered yet. One thing is for certain, though, the WNBA has some incredible talent. These players give it their all night after night and deserve to be seen and celebrated. What the league does next is a million-dollar question, but you can bet it will be interesting. The WNBA story is far from over, and we're all watching to see what happens next.